He is a New York Times best-selling author, publishing more than 35 books and selling over 10 million copies. He is also a business consultant, leadership coach, psychologist, and a family man. You may know him through his writings, such as the Boundaries series, Leading from Your Gut, The Entitlement Cure, or his most recent publication coming out in 2019, People Fuel. Dr. Townsend is also a family man. He and his wife Barbie have 2 adult children, Ricky and Benny. Barbie and John live in Newport Beach, California, only 10 minutes from our Irvine campus. An interesting fact is that one of the Townsend family passions is music and the arts, and Dr. Townsend performs in a band with his sons at Southern California lounges and venues. Dr. Townsend is also passionate about helping people achieve their best, most recently adding a personality assessment to the Townsend platform, entitled TPRAT, which stands for Townsend Personal and Relational Assessment Tool, which you will hear about more this evening. He also runs townsendnow.com, a digital platform with excerpts of his work, where you can access teachings, videos, and other digital coaching experiences interactively, all online. For more than 20 years, he has been engaging with leaders, organizations, and individuals around the globe, offering them executive coaching, corporate consulting, and giving conference presentations. He is a co-host of the nationally syndicated talk show New Life Live, which is heard in 180 different markets with 3 million listeners. Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to now welcome the founder of the Townsend Institute, Dr. John Townsend.
Well, good evening. Thanks for being here with us all over the world. We've got a lot of prospective students, people are interested in the Townsend Institute. You guys' time is valuable and appreciate you making the commitment. We want to make it worth your time, and we think we've got a lot of information for you that'll help you as you want to have the life you want to have. And let me kind of, before I go into who we are at the Institute, I'm going to switch it to you for a second. I would like for you to take a second right now to think about your why, your passion. Like, why in the world are you taking time out right now? Why are you even doing the research to look at a grad school, ours and who else is out there? There's a why and a passion that I believe that God built inside of us all, and that's what drives us. And I just like to stop for just a few seconds and just have you kind of get in touch with that. David said in Psalm 139 to search him and know him, and I want you to search and know a bit inside. Now, it could be that you've got a passion for working with organizations and leading them well, and inspiring people and having the organizations do great things and accomplish a lot of stuff. That's wonderful. It may be a passion to coach people and consult with groups and make what they're doing better and optimizing all their strengths and the things they're doing. It may be that you want to counsel because you know how it feels to deal with broken-hearted people whose lives aren't working. You've got some passion, and that's why you're here. So I'm just going to stop, and I want you to get in touch with that and think about it, because we all have to respect our passion. All great endeavors, great commitments start with passion. All right, I hope you're in touch with it, because that's how decisions get made. These are big decisions. This is a big part of your life. Maybe this is your 2.0, your 3.0, or your 4.0, or whatever. But let me ask a favor of you. Whatever you thought of, whatever came to your mind, counseling or coaching or helping organizations or being a leader in an organization, I want you to go to our chat place, chat room, chat board, chat farmhouse, chat skyscraper, whatever it's called. But our chat area. And because our great staff, like Scott and Tara and Patty, that's where they are. It's virtual. They're really not physically there because it's digital, but it's really kind of how they are virtually. But they're there. And I want you to put it down there and say, hey, I'm Susie from Finland, and my passion is X, or I'm Bill from Hawaii, my passion is, and it will help us to get to know you. I want you to do that because it will engage you with what's really important to you and connect you so we can know how to help you. So that's the first part, is that I just want to kind of like get into now what is I think that we offer that's unique and valuable and will help you at the Townsend Institute, because we have been operating for a few years now, and we kind of know what's working and the secret sauces. So one of the things that I want to bring is that a lot of us, the time you spend with me. Now, a lot of people say, oh, that's no big deal. You know, we know Townsend, he's kind of weird. But no, we found out that because the information is come from like my studies and all the books I've written and all the research I've done, it's not just the information, but I want to have a relationship with you as much as possible. That means that what we've done is we've made hundreds of videos that I've done for the different topics. If you're in counseling, you'll turn on your class for that night online, and there will be a video on depression or marriage or anxiety. Or if you're in coaching, it'll be how to interview someone to find out their potential. Or if you're in leadership, it might be how to inspire other people. But we're going to always give you like as much time as we can with me personally, because I believe that relationships are driving good achievement. Relationships drive a great program. We're not going to be your typical online program where you sit there in your kitchen with your cup of hot chocolate and your online, little laptop and your bunny slippers sitting there like looking at that. It's going to be very, very connected and very relational. We have what's called a virtual classroom, which is every other month. I'll be with you in a studio. You all can sign in. We have many, many, many students sign in, as well as alumni. And there's the big virtual screen. It's kind of like they all show a Brady Bunch where everybody shows up. And I'll do some talking, and then I'll just say, what are your questions? And you might have a question about anxiety. You might have a question about culture or about strategy. And I'll talk to you and you'll talk to me, because I want you to have real personal interaction. So the virtual classroom is a big part of what we do. Also, what we call our Kickoff. And the Kickoff is a 4-day intensive. It's the only time you've really got to come here. So wherever you're in the world, people come from all over a lot of countries to come here. You got to be here 4 days on the beautiful campus of Concordia University, Irvine, and I'll meet you there. I'll have lots of talks. I'll have ways I can meet you guys. I'll interact with you, but I want to get to know you at the Kickoff. Also, the videos that we're using, we have 7 per course that I've made. We average 1 a week, and these are not used by our professors in the virtual classroom. These are fresh, so you'll get certain information in the virtual classroom, but these are totally different videos in your class themselves, because I want you to have fresh information. My books, my concepts, it's all integrated in the curriculum. I'm here a lot. I'm not the founder that kind of set this up and left and did other things. I'm here and I want to be engaged with you. Another part is that the relational aspect means that we want to give you real world experience, as our faculty is top tier, and most of them are practitioners, meaning they not only understand like the concepts and the principles involved, but they also know what they're doing. They're in real world things. They're doing these things. So they'll have all those tips and the very practical things that everybody wants to know. You're going to have homework partners, and the professors will spend extra time with you, and they're approachable. So the professors connect with you, as well as what we call your cohort, and your cohort is your team. 7, 8, 9 other people that will be your team to go all the way through your process with. So this is all just neuroscience, because neuroscience teaches us that we perform more when we're connected emotionally and relationally to people. We've got a team around you. It's not just you all by yourself. We are very, very marketable in our skill building. We want you to have skills that you can get out of the gate, and we're going to be interviewing a really good friend of mine who is she's finished up her second master's with us. She has her first master's, and she's out there working right now. She's going to tell you about that. But we want to give her skills to say, I know what to do. It's not just a bunch of theories. What do I do now? What in the world do I do now? We're going to give you the latest and most cutting edge skills. To do that, our faculty practitioners will record what are called role plays in every class. Every class is 7 weeks. Weeks 2, weeks 4, and week 6. And they'll get feedback from your professors. So you'll role play an interview, or you'll role play a difficult conversation. You'll role play a counselee who's got a bad marriage, or you'll role play a company that's struggling, and it's the role play that makes our brain come alive. I got to tell you something. All this information that we do, a lot of this just comes from my studies in neuroscience. I'm deeply connected to neuroscience because everything that neuroscience is telling us, all the robust, well-done studies in neuroscience basically tell us one thing, is that the Bible had it right the first time. We're a Christian organization, and we found out that the studies, the hard science of neuroscience is saying all that stuff in the Bible about accept one another, tell the truth to one another, love one another, help one another, support one another. All that stuff that's in the Bible is proven, now not proven, but affirmed by the neuroscience. So this is hard science. It's not just a bunch of ideas. The neuroscience tells us how the brain comes alive in the right kinds of relationship. Got a funny story about this. Not funny, but inspiring. There's an alumnus of ours, her name is Cheryl, and she graduated. And I went to see her because I like to go to graduation and say, hey, how did it go? What are you doing? She said, well, here's my story. She said, I was in HR. When I was going through HR, and I was also in the Institute, I was taking my courses. And she said, in the HR company or in the HR department of the company I was with, my boss assigned me to two guys who were not getting along. And they were just, bad attitudes, and they're messing up the culture, and one's selfish and one's codependent and all this. And she said, they were kind of hard, but you taught me all these skills. You and the professors, our faculty, taught me all these skills about how do you mediate people, and how do you get underneath things and get past their defenses and help them see value in each other and work through things. And they started getting along, and the work got better. And the boss came up to her, the big boss, the CEO, and said, are you the one that put those two knuckleheads together? And she got, yeah, I did. And he said, where'd you learn that? She said, Townsend Institute. And he goes, I'm paying your tuition the rest of the time because he saw such value. Now, we can't guarantee that'll happen to you, but I'm telling you, it happens when people see the value. Then she was also promoted to be on the executive team. So that's kind of the quality you're getting because it's relationally based and it's also very, very skills based. One of the other aspects that I think is really, really unique is what we call our Institute Fellows. Now, fellows can be a female fellow or a male fellow, but our fellows are people who have accomplished great things. They're kind of who you want to be when you grow up in the areas that we teach: counseling, coaching, leadership. These are people who have been best-selling, New York Times writers, and people have built great organizations, and people have been wonderful healing clinicians and researchers. Let me give you some examples. In organizational leadership and coaching, Ken Blanchard, if you've ever read 1 Minute Manager and 30 other books he's read, everything he's done is a New York Times bestseller. He's one of our fellows. Henry Cloud. Henry and I have written many, many books together, starting with Boundaries. John Ortberg, pastor of Menlo Presbyterian Church in Northern California. Paul Young, he wrote The Shack. Greg Brenneman, who was CEO of Quiznos, Burger King, and Continental Airlines. These people have accomplished some things. Then you go to the counseling world, if you're checking in with our counseling department. The Gottmans, John and Julie Gottman, the #1 marital researchers in the entire world up in Seattle, they're fellows, as well as Sue Johnson. And Sue is the person that there's the expert that everybody comes to see about emotionally focused therapy, brings attachment therapy to couples. Les and Leslie Parrott, wonderful friends of ours, and they have all the best stuff in pre-marriage and marriage stuff out there. Gary Chapman, the 5 love languages. I love Gary. I love Gary in 5 different ways: acts of service and all this stuff. Jim Daly, he was on with us the other night. He's the CEO of Folks in the Family. So you've got people who are at the top of the field, and you'll have access to them at the virtual classrooms, that big thing with the Brady Bunch on there. You can ask them questions. Last night we had Jim Daly on. Focus on the Family, the guy that runs it. And our students were able to say, what about this? How do you handle this in culture? What do you do about, the pressures you get? How do you lead well? And he's sitting there answering the questions from his office. You get that kind of access to people that nobody gets access to. Let me tell you some things about the neuroscience I'm excited about, because it's a real big part of what we do. Like I said, we found out that not only does neuroscience work, but it's also deeply has to give a lot of credit to the Bible, even though it doesn't. We have 5 of our fellows who are neuropsychiatrists who are already doing this work that you'll have access to. Daniel Amen of the Amen Clinic, Kurt Thompson, Tim Jennings, Michael Lyles, Paul Meyer. These are people who know the brain at a level that, and a board-certified level, that you will have access to. And then you can learn things about leadership styles, neuroscience, emotional intelligence. And we also have videos and writings of leading neuroscience experts, people like Dan Siegel, probably the best known of all the neuroscientists out there, Alan Shore, Ephraim Guinaud, Bruce Ecker. And then leadership, we've got Daniel Goleman, people like that. We're reading people like Patrick Lencioni. We are also flexible. We know you're busy. You might have relationships or marriage or kids or whatever. We want to be flexible. Aubrey is the queen of flexible. She always takes students and says, okay, we'll work it this way, but we want you to get everything done at a way that you are and think, because people are busy. We are affordable too. If you look at us, we're the lower half of cost anywhere. We're in the bottom half because we're trying to keep it affordable to you. You know what else? Our culture has really changed the way students learn. We've learned a lot of things. A lot of students, and you may have noticed this in yourself, have shorter attention spans and are kind of more vulnerable and susceptible to distractions. Squirrel! See, I just got distracted because I'm that way. So we all do that. Well, our curriculum, because we want to handle that and help the different learning styles, we've broken up into little bite-sized pieces where you don't lose focus instead of a 2.5-hour class that just blitz you the whole time and you get overwhelmed. The research also shows that that more learning will happen, transformational learning, lifetime learning, permanent learning. We don't want you to forget this stuff in a year, as you digest and apply small amounts of learning over time. You know what else? Students don't learn all at the same speed. Some learn at one pace and some learn at others. So we are not a cookie cutter, one-size-fits-all approach. We really are customized. Slow learners feel like it's drinking from a fire hose and they get overwhelmed. Fast learners get really bored when the professor's got to slow everything down. So in an online program like ours, you can engage with the content at your own speed. That's a lot of stuff. But I wanted to show you and invite you to check us out because we think we've got some very, very special things, and our alumni say that too, and they're getting great jobs with great opportunities. So let me return back and complete the circle. Remember that passion. Remember that why. The one that you thought about, maybe you've been praying about it, and hopefully you chatted with us about it. I want you to take it seriously and respect it. Here's the problem. Nobody's going to respect your passion like you do. It's yours. It's yours to follow and put time into, or it's yours just to dream about and maybe get busy and not really get to it. And nobody wants to live a life of regret. Our interviewee has not regretted one thing because of the time she's put into following her passion. So respect it, make it a priority because you're the only one that can put action behind it. And passion without action is just a dream. Passion with action is a future, a great future for you. I want you to come study with me. I want you to come study with all our great administration, our great faculty, and I can't wait to see you at the Kickoff conference coming up soon. So that's where it all starts.
Hi everyone, I'm Aubrey and I'm the Assistant Director for the Townsend Institute here at Concordia University Irvine. We are really excited to have you guys with us tonight. This is going to be an opportunity for you guys to interact with our staff virtually and on camera, get some questions answered by Dr. Townsend and our staff here. On the chat, you guys are going to see our admissions team, which is Tara Hafman and Patty Hunt. If you guys registered for this session, you should have received a series of short video clips last week that provided some information about the Institute. If you didn't get a chance to review them, the link will be in the chat so you can access them later. Our purpose for tonight is to make sure that you guys have the information you need to get started in the Townsend Institute. So please start posting your questions now. We can get them all lined up. And we'll make sure we address as many as possible. We can't always get to every question, so if your question doesn't get answered live tonight, please know that an admissions counselor is going to follow up with you tomorrow. Also on the chat tonight, you guys will see all the way from Wabash, Indiana, our Executive Director, Scott Macon, and co-founder, who has a little intro for you right now.
Thank you. It is so good that you're here at our informational meeting, and we're excited that you may be joining us this time. My role as Executive Director is really to create the student experience. And this experience is one where you're going to be engaged, highly relational, even though it's online, and one that you're going to get the most learning from it. So you'll see me in the recruitment with the recruitment team, at the Kickoff with John and the other faculty, and then in the virtual classrooms. Once you're here, then I get to introduce you to the associate dean and the program directors in the faculty, and they're going to be your main contacts throughout this program. So I am excited that I get a chance to interact with you in the chat room. I'm already there and looking forward to continued conversations.
Here at the Townsend Institute, we offer master's degrees in counseling, organizational leadership, and executive coaching and consultation. We have certificate programs in helping professions, organizational leadership, and executive coaching and consultation. And our newest programs to join the team are bachelor's degrees in leadership studies and organizational psychology. These bachelor's degrees are also fully online and perfect for working adults desiring a degree to open up more doors and help them excel in their field. They can also flow really nicely into any one of our master's degrees. We at the Townsend Institute...
Did you see Aubrey smile when she said that? Like maybe she wants you to get your bachelor's and master's with us. Could that be?
Maybe.
Maybe.
We at the Townsend Institute have been celebrating recently. We found out in August that we earned our initial 2-year Kickoff accreditation, which our team worked really hard on. Super excited about. This Kickoff accreditation is a counseling-specific accreditation that helps to maximize the chances that our graduates in our counseling program get, so to make sure that they've met the majority of the educational requirements for licensure as a counselor in all of the states. So it is very, very helpful for our counseling graduates. Tonight we're going to do something a little special. This is the first time we've done this. We're going to give away a few $100 gift cards to say thank you for being here with us. So we're going to announce the winners throughout the night, but we actually are going to tell you guys our first winner right now. So we'll keep you on your toes throughout the night. Our first winner is Terilyn Kirchenberg. So hopefully I'm saying your name right. But Terilyn, one of our admissions counselors is going to follow up with you about how to get you that $100 gift card. So thank you for being here. Now is the time of the night that we're going to begin answering your guys' questions. So hopefully we've got some questions going on the chat. If not, get your questions in. To get us started, Dr. Townsend, you mentioned a few times that our program is highly relational. Can you give us a few more specifics in addition to the conference and the virtual classroom on how we make an online program relational?
Yeah, thanks, Aubrey. We really think we have married the idea of a program like a residential program where you would show up face-to-face with the digital world as well as anybody, because we want to make sure that you feel connected even over a digital world and it's really happening. So here's some things we're doing that I think are really help that relational piece, because when you're connected to people and you trust people and you think they're on your team and they like you and they want to text you and say, how are you doing? How's your studying going? That's what encourages us. That's what helps us learn. First off, our professors are not a bunch of detached wonks who can't have relationships. They've got great relationships and they love the students. They're here for passion. So they're going to check in and say, how are you doing? Is this too hard? Is it too easy? But you're going to have professors who are not only the smartest in the world, but also they care. You will feel the care. The second thing is the role plays. Now, I talked about role plays, and it's kind of a weird word, but it's really a powerful way of learning things. A role play is when somebody acts out like maybe a customer, and then somebody acts out what the student would do with that customer, or the leader would do with that customer, and you get to switch those role plays, and you go, oh, I can have a difficult conversation. I can sell something. I can get to know somebody personally, and so the role plays are very, very powerful. And you do them with your cohort. Remember, I used that word. I didn't really know that word before we had the Institute. It means that little team of people that are your tribe, and you do it with them because they're trusting people. Your homework partners are scheduled every week. We don't want you just to do homework. Homework alone, man, when I was going through school, it was awful to do homework alone. I kind of just didn't. But when there was a partner, all of a sudden you're encouraged and they can help you get through it. Also, we have discussion boards, like chat boards, that are designed to be very practical and personal. So people can kind of explore areas about anything from, let's suppose it's culture, or it's structure, or it's something about relationship. And you'll have regular contact with your cohort, which allows for what we understand from the neuroscience is bonding. You will bond with these people. They're nice people. They're people who are a lot like you. So lots and lots of good things, Aubrey.
Thank you, Dr. Townsend. If you could, we have a few similarities within our different sectors that we work in, between counseling, helping professions, executive coaching, consultation, and org leadership. Do you mind just distinguishing what is the difference between the three of them? Between
the three programs?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there is interaction, you're right. The Masters in Leadership program, or the credential, in what we call OL, Organizational Leadership, has to do with somebody who wants to really run an organization. Now, there's a lot of ways that can go. It can be that you want to be in the corporate world. You want to be a CEO or CFO or a CTO, CIO, but you want to be in the C-suite, right? Or you may want to manage in a corporation, or you may want to start your own business and be your own entrepreneur, or you might have a family business that you want to grow, and maybe you're the third generation of family business. Or you want to go in the nonprofit world. Maybe you want to be a pastor and learn how to run a church well and lead that church well. Or maybe you want to work with a 501c3, a nonprofit, or a .gov or something like that. So that's in running and managing and leading an organization. In the Masters in Executive Coaching Consulting, it's not about you running things, it's about you making things better. You're in there coaching people to help them be the very best they can be, to perform at their very highest levels. Or you're being hired by them as a consultant to go in and say, what's your mission? What's your vision? What's your strategy? How's your culture? How are things tying together? Do you have accountability? Do people trust each other? You're the one that's from the outside being brought in as the hired gun to make them better. And in the counseling world, counseling really has to do with healing. The counseling, the best counselors in the world are the ones that fundamentally think, I want to heal. The one that when you were in junior high, everybody went to you and talked about their problems, and they just could tell that you were empathic, you were an empath. And so they have to do with issues like depression, anxiety, drug addiction, marital problems, major mental disorders, and these sorts of things. So it's all about people, really. The interaction really is, it's all about people, but it's about different aspects, either leading it, making an organization better, or healing them.
All right, thank you for explaining that. That's really helpful for our students that might be looking at a couple different programs and not quite decided yet. John, we have some students that would maybe be interested in a program that integrates biblical principles. We've said that our program does. Can you tell us a little bit more about how we do that?
Yeah, we are just happy to be Christians and want to give you a training that is Christian but also science-based. So you don't have to commit intellectual suicide to get a master's with us. We want you to be able to be proud of what you've got and know that you've got something that's been verified by science. But let me tell you about the biblical part. First off, we've got verses all over the place. I have integrated passages, key passages about the subject in all of our courses, and our faculty know the same thing, and they've done the same thing. But guys, it's not just about the Bible verses. The Bible has things we call doctrines and theologies, meaning things that are taught at seminaries and things that are taught in great churches, things like the doctrine of eschatology, future things, the doctrine of ecclesiology. What does the church have to do with all this? The doctrine of soteriology, that's the doctrine of salvation. Bibliology, the doctrine of the Bible. Hamartiology, the doctrine of sin and redemption, these sorts of things. We're going to help you show a doctrinal as well as an individual scriptural passage. We're really serious about the theology here. And then we also have courses offered as elective that allow for a deeper dive for those of you who really want to get more out of that. We have an integration course, and the word integration means putting together psychology and the Bible, science and the Bible, and seeing how they're friends. They're not enemies, they're friends. And spiritual development, because spiritual development is very, very important. So it's all the way through there. Now, we do have it, and I'm really glad to say this. We have a lot of people that say, well, I don't have a faith, or I'm not sure about faith, I'm not sure about your faith, and will I still get a good education? We are a big tent. We want everybody to come. And we have so many people now that graduated that go, well, the faith thing was kind of not where I was, but the people were warm, I got great training and great skills. It is not an issue, and we're just glad to have you.
So we have talked a little bit about this conference. We're an online program, but we make you guys come here for 4 days and be all in person, the Kickoff conference. So John, could you tell us a little bit more about what a student should expect to see at the conference?
Yeah, I really love this. Scott Macon, our executive director, and our co-founder kind of came up with the idea because it was so important to get people together. That's, like I said, wherever you are in the world, and people fly for 4 days from somewhere around the world to be within those 4 days, because that initial launching contact is so important. And when I go see the graduates and say, how was it? They go, the Kickoff started it all. Now I know it was a pain to get there, but I would not miss it for the world now, because you bonded with people physically, had lunch with them, had meetings with them, and here's what the schedule looks like. Oh my goodness, it's busy. Well, it'll be a lot of activity. We introduce everybody, get everybody connected. I speak several times about key issues in the world in terms of your growth and your excellence and where you're going to go. But then we've also got the fellows. They come in, they fly in. People that come in, and like I said, they're the ones that we all want to be when we grow up. Either you come in on Skype or they come in live. And also we have what's called process groups. And process groups are bonding groups led by our great faculty who are very highly trained in facilitating this, where people find a safe environment to grow together, to learn about their EQ, their emotional intelligence, to be able to get feedback, to be able to get support, and in a place that they can really be themselves. So that's where people begin to go, the Institute's a safe place. These 8 people are really safe people, and I'm being guided by this professional. So we're getting content from me, content from our fellows, great process groups, and then just, hey, you're in Southern California, go to the beach and go to Disneyland.
If you guys are in our Masters in Counseling program, if that's what you're looking at, you might notice that we have a couple classes with some interesting names, maybe intimidating, practicum and internship. Don't be intimidated. These are state required courses where you will actually put your counseling skills to work. So you'll start taking on a client caseload during that time under the supervision of your site and our faculty here. These classes, we help you guys because online program, we have students all over the country, all over the world. It might be a question of just how do we help you guys find these? This is a little overwhelming. It is like a job search at that time, but we do provide as many resources for you as possible. We have an information session, and we have a fieldwork coordinator who works with you guys to get your site set up. So when you get there, you're gonna have a lot of questions. We'll be here with answers. And we're happy to help.
Aubrey, is it safe to say that after this point, we kind of know your questions? I mean, I really feel like we've had so many students that it's not, nobody's going to say something we haven't heard before, we haven't helped before.
Yes,
We've
most
kind
of the time.
Figure
yeah.
most of this out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're in safe hands.
Yes. Here's another question that we get a lot from students. If you guys are in the program, master's degree, you guys have lives, you have families, you have obligations, you have work. If you begin the program and your life obligations, in a positive sense, get overwhelming, you can take time off. So we are flexible. It's a cohort model. Ideally, you would stay with your cohort the whole time, but we want to support a healthy work-life balance for you guys. So if you have life getting heavy and work getting heavy and school is suffering and you need to make adjustments that are going to work better for you and your family, then we're here to support you through that. So what we do is you would talk with our advising team and we would work with you guys to set up a plan. If you need to take time off, you need to slow down, or you have a lot of extra time and you want to speed up, that's an option too. Basically the answer is just you talk to an advisor and we work with you to try to make something work. John, we have another question for you here. So, one second, sorry, having trouble seeing it. How well do you think Concordia compares in light of larger, well-known educational institutions? So, we might be seen as a smaller university. So, what sets us apart, and what's the quality highlight of our program?
Well, in education, small is sometimes great, not a problem, Aubrey. We tend to go deep into you. We connect at a deep level because we can. We're very agile, if you know what the term agile means. We can be flexible with you because we don't have to worry about so many people there that everybody's sort of like just a number. So we're highly personal. I think that sets us apart. But another thing about us, and let me just hit the relationship drum again. We know that people who are connected with trust and emotionally safe relationships are going to remember their information forever. I have no interest in people that just get a degree and then bail, and what was that stuff about? I mean, that's a lot of time and expense to go to. So we help you drive the information as well as the brain hearing about safety, that people are tuned into me, and what that does in your brain, there's these neuronic structures that will say, that emotional memory is mixed with a cognitive memory. Here's the data, here's the skills, here's the principles. That's cognitive data, objective data. I'm mixing it with an emotional response of nice people that care about me deeply. I've got that forever. We want to train you forever. I think it's one of our advantages in being a small, niche school.
I'm kind of feeling like maybe we should give away another $100 gift card.
Aubrey's feeling it. We have to do it when she feels it.
Let's do it.
What's up here?
Okay, so we have another gift card winner. This winner is Mark Denton. So Mark, congratulations. We're super happy you're here with us tonight, and we're gonna have an admissions counselor get in touch with you about how to get your $100 gift card. Now back to questions. John, can you talk to us a little bit about what the Masters in Executive Coaching and Consultation will allow a student to do?
Lots. It's a very flexible degree in a very flexible industry. Coaching is exploding around the world. People are saying great benefiting in having a coach. In fact, Harvard Business Review, some recent studies have said that if you hire a coach, you or your company will make 3 to 4 times what they spent on the coach. So people are going, well, that's a way to save and a way to maximize. So coaches are being hired for everything. And we love the idea of not just coaching like life coaching. We like life coaching, but we really love executive coaching, because then you get access to people, CEOs, managers, people who are business owners, people under pressure, and you're the person that goes in. What you do basically is you help them to go from level A to level Z, and that's your job. So it's a really positive thing, because you get to make people who are really successful uber successful. What could be more positive than that? So there's ways you can do that. You can have a private practice. Now, if you've already got a lot of contacts and networks, you can go into that. Most people don't go straight into a private practice because it takes some work to do. Most people will join an organization that's either a coaching organization, like several people doing it together, or they'll get hired by an organization that's large enough to have coaches, internal coaches, like a larger church or a large corporation, a large nonprofit. And then some people, what they want to do is they just kind of want to do something else in life. Maybe their tent making job, their sort of pay the bills job, but they love the passion of doing coaching. So there's all sorts of things you can do with it. And like I said, though, we have not seen the top of where the coaching inflection points are.
So speaking of executive coaching and consultation, our master's program, we have a question asking if we're a part of the International Coaching Federation, ICF. So at this time, we do not have that accreditation, but here's why. We are a young program. We have our first graduates coming this December from that program. Usually before you seek an accreditation, you want to have some graduates under your belt. So we're currently in the research phase. We have started looking into what it takes to become accredited by ICF, and we're looking over their standards. We do fall in line with their standards, but we are looking at pursuing that accreditation. So we don't have it just yet, but it is definitely something. If there's a gold standard, just like we did with K-CREP, we want it for our program, we want it for our graduates.
Yeah, just like we do with K-CREP, we'll get it done. We're very focused on these sorts of things.
John, we have a student who really loves the fact that we focus on marketable skills. Can you tell them some of the specific skills they'll learn in org leadership?
Absolutely. I taught one last night to our leadership students on the virtual classroom, Aubrey, and I did one on negotiation, where you have to go in and talk about what you want, if you want to sell yourself or you want to buy a product or service, and how to do it so that it's a win-win. And we teach not only the deal points and how to craft those, but also the empathic skills. How do you help a person know that you want them to win too? Well, we're so big on relationship and attunement and empathy, we give you a secret sauce superpower to help you negotiate better. Here's another one, learning strategy. You know, every larger corporation and a group of any size has to have a strategy based on their mission and vision. We help you to learn what a strategic retreat is and how to conduct one, so that you can help a company say, based on where we are in our product and where the market is, we want to have our people go this way. Another marketable skill is the skill of being able to transform culture. You know, if you're reading Gallup poll, if you're reading anybody these days, Lencioni, it's really about engagement and culture, because people that connect well and work hard and are smart, they kind of rule the market. People that are smart and know their job, but they don't connect well because the culture is kind of fear-based, they don't do a good job. So we'll give you very smart skills in marketing. But the other thing that we do is that we help you with accountability. Accountability means the follow-up, where people learn, hey, here's the great idea, here's the strategy, but how do we make sure with what we call smaller points of accomplishment where somebody's got a monitor here, somebody's got a I'll be the champion of this here. We help you to be accountable and help companies with their execution, because once you've got execution, then everything works. So that's how specific we get. We're very granular about the skills.
One of the ways I've heard our organizational leadership program described that I really appreciated and think reflects in our student body is as focusing on the health of the organization, the healthy leaders, and so that might be something helpful for you guys.
That's a great idea.
Thought that was great.
That's a very good thing.
So students, when you're coming back for a master's degree, we have students from all different walks of life and all different familiarities with technology. As an online program, this might be a little bit intimidating for some of you who maybe you don't feel as comfortable with technology. That is okay. We have a couple of things that we do, and we've had students come into our program that have just said, I am not familiar with technology, I'm not tech savvy at all, but I want to do this program. So we're happy to have you here. We have a lot of resources for you. We do have orientation before coming into the program where I give you guys the opportunity to meet with me, and we can set up a one-on-one virtual meeting in Adobe Connect so you can practice with what your classroom looks like. We also have a fantastic IT department, and I can't recommend them enough. They are very responsive, very easy to get a hold of, and very kind when explaining how to work through your technology issues. No shame.
You know what, Aubrey, I was just thinking about that point. Guys, I can't think of all the students we've ever had since we started, not one I don't think has stopped or gotten discouraged and quit because of tech. They've always gotten the help they need.
Yeah,
it's always there.
They have always found the resources, and some people have had to put a little extra work into it, but they have always found the resources. So we have questions about financial aid and if it applies to certificates. The financial aid that you're eligible for as a graduate student is through federal loans. So we have federal student loans. That's what we offer for financial aid as in their graduate program. And certificate students are not eligible for federal loans. That is only for master's degrees. John, you mentioned that you are a part of the conference, a part of the program. You didn't just leave found the program and then leave it. Could you tell us a little bit about...
Well, it's 10 minutes away from my house, so I'm kind of here anyway.
Yeah. We could get you over here real fast if we needed.
You could.
Could you tell us just a little bit about your favorite part of being involved in the program?
Oh, gosh. Can I just do more than one?
Yeah.
Okay, because there's just so many. Kickoff, what Aubrey's calling the conference, we call the Kickoff Conference. That's got to be a highlight. We do one in the spring and one in the fall, and that's when I just see all you guys smiling faces, and you want to like change the world, and you want to have a great job, and I just love the enthusiasm, great energy. Scott Macon is a wizard at making it a really multimedia event, and so there's a lot of visual things going on that'll be wonderful. So I just get a lot of energy from the connections there. I really love the virtual classroom because that's when I can be. I was there at the studio last night for 3 hours, and that was for the leadership and coaching students. Tomorrow night I'll be there for 3 hours with the counseling students, and I love that because I'll tell you what I loved about it last night. Our students are getting so sophisticated in their questions. I mean, really having to think about it because they're getting great training from our faculty, and so they're asking me questions that are like challenging, but show me they're reading the books and they're interested and they're like becoming really good at these things. So I just love just watching their brains interact. And then I also love the fact that I'm really big on a word called emotional vulnerability. I don't want to live a life without vulnerability. I don't hang around people who aren't vulnerable. Like if I'm at a baseball game, I'll go move somewhere else. I just like to be around people who are open. And our students are so vulnerable about their challenges, and they don't try to be perfect. They don't expect other people to be perfect. They can talk about their weaknesses and the things they struggle with. And when you're in the classroom, you see people bond together instead of like, oh no, shame you because you're not perfect. People go, I'm like that too. And I struggle and I get scared too, and I wonder if I'm going to fail. And it's like we have this tribe that can be vulnerable together in the digital world, and it's just beautiful. Probably one of my favorite things of the whole year. Every other month we do it.
And you know what? I think we actually have a really great video example of how John interacts with students at the Kickoff conference that you guys first come to, the 4-day conference. So I would love it if we could show that video right now of just John's interaction at the conference.
I feel the help. Oh. Whoa! Whoa! That's a bad idea.
Come on in! You're just be present. I didn't want to do this. I was afraid to do this. I don't speak in public, and you did that.
I'm so proud of you. This is wonderful.
I came for this process group and this time anticipating I would learn something about counseling and whether or not this was the path I wanted to be on. What I learned instead was about myself and life and how to be a human being. It taught me so much more than anything about counseling.
Yeah. Whoa! Yeah!
Tonight we have a special guest with us, Mishi Sherry. She is one of our students in the program. She just recently finished her Master's in Org Leadership, and she is starting on her Master's in Executive Coaching in consultation with us. So Mishi works as the Executive Director of Corporate Administration at Chamberlain Group, which is an exclusive wealth management firm in Orange County that provides investment and insurance services to the super affluent. She is responsible for overseeing and supporting the administrative service functions, including but not limited to human resources, marketing, business systems and technology, and organizational corporate culture development. Prior to joining Chamberlain Group, Mishi served as a copywriter, event producer, and programming director for Think Big Communications. She holds a certificate in human resources and a certificate in management and supervisory development. We are very excited to have Mishi with us, and I would love to turn it over for a little student question and answer time.
Thanks for coming back, guys. Now, this is really special for me because Mishi and I have known each other. How long have we known each other?
Geez, I'm going to go 17 years.
17 years
something
or
like
so.
that.
So we were friends, but back then kind of just sort of had a lot of commonalities. And then when she told me a few years ago she was going to do this, I was so excited. And I've been able to watch your progress and all the things you're learning and stuff. So welcome, and thanks for being here.
I'm so thrilled to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Here's what I think a person like you who has finished one master's and is a glutton for punishment
You
at
said
some level
That's
is,
right.
is working another one. You know, the students I hear are the prospective students, Mish,
Yeah.
you're thinking, I need somebody who's not like just talking about it, but somebody who's been there. So first off, can you talk about like what it was you wanted that you decided on the Institute?
Sure. So I graduated 1,000 years ago from college up at Cal Poly and hadn't pursued any kind of degrees after that. I actually started at Concordia for the MBA program just as the Institute was getting started here. And I kept hearing about it.
Their loss is our gain.
I'll tell you, I was starting the program and went, this is not me. This is not me. So once org leadership and then executive coaching came into play, it was a no-brainer because I knew I needed words to what I instinctively knew. So I needed to learn framework and package.
Like they talk about the schema, the cognitive schema. You
That's
already
right.
had, intuitively you knew
That's
it,
right.
but you didn't know the theories and the concepts.
That's right. Or the neuroscience.
Or the neuroscience. Okay, so that grabbed you.
Totally.
And so what was your experience like? Because, you know, we talked about that. I mean, I'd like to say it's a breeze, but it's a graduate program.
It is.
So
It's-
what was it like for you?
It's absolutely a graduate program. I feel like I put boundaries into place. No,
Boundaries.
no
What's that
pun
word-
intended.
What's that word mean?
I know, but I sort of had to say no to some other
Yeah.
things in my life and go full bore. You know, that was really important. I have a full-time job. I was
You were full-time the whole way through our
all the way
program.
through. Yeah, I had a lot of volunteer responsibilities at some nonprofit organizations. You know, a lot of outside obligations, but this was really critical to me. So I said to my people, my family, I love you. See you in a couple of years. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, obviously I got
But you had to do
sniff
some
her out, but
pruning of time.
I did.
Okay.
That was important.
Now, as you can tell, Mishi is a very relational person. She's very warm. That's why I love her.
And good looking.
And good looking.
I mean, let's just be honest.
And we'll make you good looking if you sign up with us tonight. So,
That's true.
how did the relational component impact you? You're having to prune back. You're having to dedicate time.
Yeah.
This thing we keep talking about, the relational component cohorts. What was that like for you?
Okay. I was sitting over there listening to you talk. This is my favorite part of this. I'll tell you a couple quick things. Number one, I texted my whole cohort today and said, I'm doing this thing, be thinking about me or whatever, praying for me, whatever you do. And I remember my very first kickoff conference. And I came in a little bit like, all right, what is all this?
Yeah.
And
you're kind of observing and evaluating if it was really you.
I was watching.
Have to.
I'm not a jump in.
Yeah.
Both feet, I put a toe in and go, all right, let's see how I do here. And met my cohort, walked in and listened to you talk, and that was all great. And I thought, okay, these are interesting people. I wonder what this is going to be like. We went to a process group with strangers, and you know how this goes. Within 4 minutes, one of the men in my group was bawling. And I remember thinking, I don't even know these people's last name.
Yeah.
And we were already right there. Here I am 2 years later. These 8 people, I'll get emotional just talking about it, are some of my best friends. They're amazing. And
they're all around.
I was just going to say, they're
everywhere,
all
right?
over well, not the world, but all over the country.
Yeah.
They're all over the country. And I see them every week, virtually. And there is, for people who think that an online program is not relational, I say bull hickey. Like, it is you have done a remarkable job at that. And that kickoff conference is vital. And I'll tell you even this, I've come back for 2 more rounds of the kickoff conference.
And alumni can do that.
Yeah.
Just come on in and get more teaching from other fellows and bond with your people again.
Yeah.
It's
amazing
I was
work.
thinking about what you said, Mishi, about, I talked to our last graduation, somebody who, I think it was an MOL, and I said, so, what was the secret sauce? And she goes, well, yeah, your teaching's good, and blah, blah, blah. But she said, since I started with my tribe, my cohort, she says, we have texted each other every day the whole way through.
Yeah.
How are you doing? Are you overwhelmed? How can I support you? What can you need from me? She said, I've never had anything like this.
Yeah. It's
Same
amazing.
experience.
It's amazing. We had people, when we first started, we had 4 men and 4 women. And by the second kickoff conference, or maybe the third, to be honest, the guys in our group all got an Airbnb, and they all stayed together for 4 days.
Wow.
They're coming out for graduation this coming December.
Yeah.
One of our gals can't afford it. Doesn't matter. We're all paying for it.
Wow.
That we love each other.
Now you might say, well, look, I got a lot of friends. I don't need this, but I'll tell you something. You don't have a lot of friends that are in the same high-end graduate program studying the same stuff. Think about when you were in college and your people that, you're all together eating pizzas and trying to survive and drinking Red Bull. It's like that. It's that kind of bonding.
We're in it together, yeah.
All right. Everybody who calls to, we got a lot of people who do this.
Yeah.
They say, well, what did I come out with in terms of the marketplace, my job? Now you're on your second master's, but you've always been in the work world. So what skills did you bring, or did we bring or develop with you that make a difference?
Yeah. So in my profession currently, and what I hope to do, eventually long term, there's a lot of practical skills, things like decision making.
Yes.
Teaching people how to make decisions. I grew up thinking there was a pro list and a con list, and that was it. And it turns out there's lots of other ways to make decisions.
You were brought up kind of binary?
Well, yes. So that's one thing, how to make change, how to actually go through change, and how to take an organization through change.
Change management theory.
That was a huge one for me. I call them grown-up conversations. Like, how do we actually model and then take people through grown-up conversations? And frankly, my soapbox moment, if there were one skill that I would preach through the kingdom, it would be learn how to have a confrontative conversation.
Now talk about why you landed on that one, Misha.
Yeah.
Why is that one so important? Because I agree.
Yeah.
Why did you decide that?
I see people stunted every day, from CEOs all the way down to administrative associates. Something happens and there's a clash. And there's going to be a clash, right, in the workplace just between people, because we're not all the same.
Yeah.
And they just get paralyzed and stuck, and it impacts the rest of their day, week, and sometimes career.
And you see, when people, like you said, people don't have the skills, and so they become conflict avoidant.
That's right.
So the person that's controlling or self-centered or a bully, everybody just lets them have their way because they don't want to, and then all of a sudden the culture sucks.
That's right.
But if you learn these skills,
you build a beautiful culture.
And you lean into these conversations now.
Yeah, I do. I love them. I'm not afraid of them. I love to take people through them. My famous line at work is, "It's not going to kill you. Like, you won't die. Congratulations, you won't die."
You know what she's referring to, guys, is that we are really big on helping people to be anti-fragile. Now, it's kind of funny because we're all about relationship and vulnerability and openness, and you would think people would be walking all over eggshells so you don't hurt each other's self-esteem.
Yeah.
But we're also anti-fragile, which means you got to be resilient.
That's right.
You got to be able to put your big boy pants and whatever
Face
people
the
say.
music,
Face the music.
Yeah.
But we do both at the same time.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Okay.
right. It's healthy.
All right. So what are your, we're always evaluated and either promoted or not promoted by the people in our organization. If you had like a microphone or a video of your bosses, because you've been, and what would they be noticing that Mishi's bringing to the table
Yes.
as a result of this?
Credibility.
Okay.
That's a big one, I think. Succinctness. A balanced perspective, so it's more than just emotional kumbaya, which is what I was accused of before I didn't have the language.
Yeah.
Can we all just love each other, right?
Kind of the mumbo jumbo with
That's
no
right.
science behind it.
That's right. And so my favorite part is that this is biological.
Yeah.
This is part of how God made our
It's
brains.
the hardware in your brain that God
That's
made.
exactly right. So I think that's a huge one. And so they have really relinquished some control and sort of said, run with this, do this,
They
and
trust you.
They do. They trust me. And they've always trusted me, but they trust me more.
Okay.
They
Now-
believe me.
Now, yeah, because you're credible. I want to take you through, we've got these 7 weeks, every course is 7 weeks.
Yes.
And so let's take you through one, maybe it's from, 7 to 10 on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
But I was trying to convey, it's not just sitting there with the bunny slippers doing
Oh, gosh,
stuff.
no.
What is
Yeah.
that experience like, Mishi? Because they're going to be doing a lot of these. And if you could just kind of paint the picture of what that course or just one class night or
Yeah.
day is like.
Sure. So my mantra, first of all, is I can do anything for 7 weeks. So every week one, I would go, okay, I can do anything for 7 weeks. And there are homework assignments throughout the week. Some weeks have more, some weeks have less. On the weeks where there are virtual classrooms, it is like the Brady Brunch. That's how I describe it to people.
It's like litter mates.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
great.
So you get on and you actually kind of start laughing just because you are now friends and you're kind of
And,
more
and
than
I'm
friends.
trying to follow the chats.
Yeah.
And they're going so fast.
so
well, I think this. Well, I think this. So I
It's
just
so fast.
there's
And
a lot
there's
going on.
inside jokes. And it's really a subculture, right?
Wow.
It's a subculture. So then for cohort nights, like when we're having classes with our professors, I want to say a couple of things. One is you get what you put in. So show
Remember
up.
that.
Like show up. Ask your questions.
Engage.
Yes. I feel like I'm paying for this. Like I'm getting my
You're,
question
you're,
answered.
you're not sitting there rubber stamping saying, okay, I can check that off.
No, like lean in,
Good.
lean into this process. That's the first thing. The second thing is the professors, you get to know the professors as people. And the fun thing is you get to have several of them several times.
Oh, yeah.
And
Because it's another course. They teach
that's
multiple
right.
courses.
So you build relationships with your professors. I've got 4 of them on my cell phone right now that I can text like this and have about
All right.
a meltdown
All right,
moment or whatever.
A favorite professor. Now, if she doesn't, professors, because I know you guys watch this, don't feel bad self-esteem if she doesn't pick you up. I just say I didn't ask Misha for her favorite professor, just a favorite professor and why, because I really want the prospective students to think, oh, these are real people I can connect with.
Yeah, I'm going to actually break the rules and tell you 2 quickly.
2.
Okay, Greg Macon, Scott's
Yeah,
brother.
yeah, he's
Greg
great.
Macon was one of my first professors, and to this day, he's remained so safe to me. I'll get emotional thinking about
is
him.
very safe.
He takes you. He just cares for you, and I think that's really.
And it's so real.
Oh gosh.
It's so real.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So he helped provide a lot of healing and insight, and a couple of my banner moments are things he said.
Wow.
So
So in addition
that's a
to him
big deal.
teaching the content, he's there for Mishi too.
that's right. He's my friend. He may not actually be my friend, but I feel like he's my friend.
Greg, you know you're her friend.
It's true. And the other one, of course, that comes to mind that I think everybody says something about is Michelle Thompson. And
how can you
she
beat
just,
Michelle?
oh, it's ridiculous. Here's the problem. I rate these people as great professors by the amount of ways they make me cry. That's just the way it is.
There's good crying and bad crying. You don't
It's
mean bad
always
crying.
good
You don't
crying.
mean torture crying.
No.
Not that kind.
It's like breakthrough crying.
Yeah, and you feel relief and care and support.
Yes. Vulnerability for me was something I always encouraged and could get out of other people, but I'm not going to do it.
Oh,
And so-
you were able to provide it for others,
Yes.
but it was hard for you to experience
That's
it.
right. That's
So
right.
how did that?
And so through this program, because frankly you're forced to,
Yeah.
it's but in a good way. Like
Yeah.
I knew I needed that.
Yeah.
I knew I needed that. And
I'm working on a new book, and the idea is that we're all meant to be fully functional. Like
Yeah.
all of our gifts, all of our talents,
Yeah.
all this. We're designed to be fully functional.
Yeah.
But the second level is that to be fully functional, you got to be fully loved.
Oh, it's so
People have got to know you, and so that's the fuel of life. Like my new book, People Fuel. But the hard part is the third step, because to be fully loved, I had to be fully known.
That is so
the
true.
dark side, the weaknesses, the hurt, the shame.
the gross stuff.
Right. And
Yeah.
I don't want to be a person, nor do you, who goes, well, I was 60% known, so I'll be 60% loved.
Right.
So at the end of my life, I'll be 60% functional. I want it all like you do. And so even though experiencing vulnerability was hard, you jumped into it.
I did both feet. Both feet. Yeah.
All right. So people are on the fence. They're looking at a lot of schools,
Yeah.
and there are a lot of good schools out
Yeah.
there. What would you say is something unique to say, you really ought to sign up and come to the kickoff?
Yeah. Well, first of all, you get to shake your hand, mess up your hair, on occasion.
It's already messed up.
That's right. I think the thing that differentiates your program from others is the genuineness.
Okay.
I learned a bunch of stuff, but I was loved through the process. That's a huge deal. That's a huge deal.
We have solved the online disconnection, and she is a product of it.
It's true.
Misha's out there changing her world. She's got career stuff and opportunities that she would have never had because of her skill set and her personal growth. So, Misha, thank you so much for being here.
My
Oh
pleasure.
gosh. And, this is kind of the way it works. So, thank you very much, Misha.
My pleasure.
Okay, Aubrey.
Okay. Give me 1 second.
Is this what's called an awkward silence? Is that
It's a pregnant pause.
a pregnant pause?
See what comes of it.
With what?
Well, when you're a counseling student, you'll learn. So come to the program, and then you'll know. All right, so that is all the time we have for questions tonight. If you guys did not get your questions answered, we're going to follow up by email. So be looking for that email. We appreciate your questions. We want to get them answered for you. Tonight, make sure you guys take advantage of the $50 application fee waiver that you get for joining us. Enter the phrase TI now in the promo code section at the end of the application. We also have a scholarship opportunity that's happening right now. If you guys submit your application by November 30th and begin your program with us this spring 2020, you will receive $500 off your first course. And we have one more final gift card winner for tonight, and that winner is Kimberly Steffen. I hope I'm saying that right. Congratulations. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight. And Dr. Townsend, I'm going to turn it back to you to wrap up the night.
Thanks, Aubrey. Thanks again for the time. Your time's valuable. We want to make it valuable for you. We wanted to let you know kind of what we think is unique. We wanted to give you someone wonderful like Mishi who, has been there, can identify with you. And let me just bang on the drum again. You've got to be the one to respect that passion. God put it into you. And we hope we can see you respecting that passion at our kickoff soon. So thanks for coming. Good night.